Who is the funniest person in my family and why? That's a very tricky question, I must say, because my family aren't really funny people. I think my family, just to give you a bit of background, are immigrants from Uganda. And because of that entire story, they've been so disciplined and serious that I haven't seen any humor in them. If any actual fact, I think I'm the funniest person because I bring the light and the color, as you've seen in the outfits that I wear, is really what embodies the humor and the excitement of my family. I feel like I'm taking the entire family's humor and I'm putting it in my shoulders. So to answer your question, I think I'm definitely the funniest. And the reason why is because I am a beneficiary of their sacrifices coming here and making me who I am right now.
One of the greatest skills that Toastmaster teaches us is how to bring together communication and leadership. In your speech, I absolutely loved how both of those elements definitely did come through. Firstly, I was looking out for persuasive language because part of expressing your vision is being able to use persuasive language. You mentioned things like cross-collaboration, teamwork is the new way of working. That was so persuasive. It wanted me to jump in and be like, I want to be part of your project. So very great use of the persuasive language. Secondly, I was looking out for how well are you outlining your project, right, as per your purpose statements. One thing that I absolutely loved was you took us on a journey from how you started your project, what the challenges were that you experienced, and how you went about dealing with those challenges, more so how you went about putting together your team and the various roles that they played. I thought that was also absolutely, absolutely amazing. The third thing that I was looking out for was organization. So, are you able to tell us how your project is going to play out? Yes, you told us exactly what you were expecting. You told us exactly what you were planning. So that came through very clearly. An area for improvement that I did note was I would have loved to hear you speak more in future-oriented language. And the reason for this was because part of your project was to tell us your vision, tell us where you are going with the project, and rather than telling us where you've been so far. I was a bit concerned because there is a second speech that you have to deliver on the project. And I'm wondering how you're going to deliver that project if you're telling us all about the experience that you're going through now. Visionary communication, again, all about telling us the future-oriented stuff. So in future, when communicating a project around around your visions and your plan, I would like to hear you speak more in the future tense so that I can also be riled up and get onto your team. But Enias, very well delivered. You've certainly met your project objectives, vocal variety, hand gestures, all on point. I would also like to suggest maybe trying to stand up during your speech. I've seen you animate, and I think you do really great speaking while standing up. So I'm definitely, if I get the privilege of evaluating your speech, your second speech, I would definitely be looking forward to evaluating it and seeing these feedback elements in action. Over to you, Mr. Evaluation Chair.
On the 11th of May last year, Bernard Crone, one of the foremost classmates of mine at university and a friend, went out cycling in the bush. While he was on his bicycle, he had a heart attack and died, aged 67. Last Friday, Shane Warne, famous cricketer, was found dead at the age of 52. Deaths like that in the prime of life are a tragedy. But what is worse than death, apart, of course, from public speaking? Living into old age. If you live to 80 or 90, here are some of the joys that you can look forward to. Your body gradually becomes less capable. You become bowed. Your joints seize up, the cartilage wears out, bone grates on bone, walking becomes painful, diseases appear, arthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, cancer. Your hearing and sight begin to go. And with it, your brain deteriorates. You gradually forget things. You get old-timers disease, Alzheimer's, and dementia. And of course, apart from being in constant pain, you'll also look old. I went to the pharmacy to ask the young pharmacist for something for wrinkles. She said, "Why?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, don't you have enough wrinkles already?" The good news is that wrinkles don't hurt. The diseases I mentioned all seem to come with age. But what if age itself is the cause of those diseases? And what if, instead of treating the individual diseases, aging itself could be treated? There are scientists who believe that this is possible. One of them is David Sinclair, PhD. He's a geneticist who's been studying the human genome for over 30 years. He's over 50, but he looks 36. He's written a book which I've just read, Lifespan: Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. Dr. Sinclair proposes the information theory of aging. He says that as we get older, our cells lose information, and that this is the cause of the diseases. Now, what information are we talking about? As you know, DNA, the genome, is the recipe for building and maintaining a body. But what is it that distinguishes a liver cell from a skin cell, from a brain cell? It's a structure that was only discovered recently in this century, and that is a thing called the epigenome. The epigenome has two functions. It repairs broken DNA, and it steers the DNA, almost like the driver of a car. It decides what parts of the genome are going to be expressed and what parts will be suppressed, and that makes the distinction. But as we age, the epigenome becomes less capable. It loses information. It forgets how to do things. Dr. Sinclair says that we can wake it up again by subjecting it to mild stress, non-lethal stress. And what he suggests is this: reduce meat and sugar. Skip meals occasionally. Do intermittent fasting. Intensive exercise periodically. Get out of breath. And subject yourself to hot and cold. Skip that jersey for once. Have a cold shower. Go to sauna. You might say, with a regime like that, it might not be that I live longer, but it will certainly feel like it. Now, if that's too tough, there are now chemicals that can assist. Things like resveratrol, metformin, and NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. Dr. Sinclair says that within the next decade, we will have therapies that can reset the epigenome. taking 10 or 20 years off of your biological age. If you're alive today, and you can do that repeatedly, if you're alive today, you could live to 120, even 150. You'll get older, but stay healthy and look young. A brave new world is coming. You'll be able to live in good health as long as you like, and then, like Bernie or Shane, die, but painlessly. A brave new world is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, science fiction is becoming science fact. As I say in Star Trek, live long and prosper.